Do you ever find yourself having the best intentions but never actually executing the game plan you set out to do? Perhaps you struggle with structuring a realistic and helpful plan for the goals you are trying to achieve. You might find yourself desperately trying to do everything but not actually achieving anything in the process because you just end up burnt out and sore. Trust me, I've been there and done that. So today I'm going to give you my 5 simple steps on how to construct your own training program and actually do it. Let's dive right in. Hey there, my name is Hannah Martin. If you don't know much about me, I have competed at the Commonwealth Games as a rhythmic gymnast. I did a whole 180 with my life and now I'm a professional ballet dancer, dancing with the Birmingham Royal Ballet all around the world. Both ballet and rhythmic gymnastics requires a lot of dedication, a lot of discipline and a lot of focus. To have 2 careers in the same lifetime, it's quite rare because both require different skill sets. Constructing my own training program got me to where I am today and allowed me to experience all these amazing things in my life. Today I'm going to show you the key steps on how you can do this for yourself. Step 1, set a goal. It may seem simple, but this is the one thing I have to do planning anything. If you don't have a goal, you won't have the motivation to do whatever it is you want to do because you won't have that core aim and focus. This gives you the vision. Not having a goal is like getting in a car with no destination. You get in, you put the keys in, you've got all the attributes to moving forwards, but then you don't actually have anywhere to move forwards to. Initially, I don't want you to have to worry too much about how you're going to get there, what the roads you're going to use to get there. Right now, we're just going to focus on what the goal is. Where is your destination? Where you're going to drive your car? I personally did this when I decided I wanted to try and qualify for the Commonwealth Games. I had been outside of the sport for 8 months, and it seemed almost impossible that I would ever even be considered to make the team, let alone actually qualified to go to Australia halfway across the world at 15 years old. Somehow it happened, but the main driver for everything that I did in my life at that time was towards this goal and dream of the Commonwealth Games. It seemed crazy, it seemed ludicrous, but because I had set that goal and set that vision, that was the driver for everything else I did in my life at that point, and that helped me to achieve that goal. Without that goal, I would have been training for training's sake. I wouldn't ever actually have a focus or the motivation to drive me forwards. I didn't have an exact roadmap. There was no, if you do X, Y, and Z, you're going to get here. There was no guarantees. But because I had that goal and I had that vision, it gave me the motivation to try and find the keys. I think when you have the goal, it gives you the motivation to find the ways that you can achieve that goal. But without that initial focus, it's very, very difficult to motivate yourself to do so. I've repeated this several times throughout my life. Getting into a ballet company, getting into ballet school, getting my degree, all these things were big goals, not necessarily roadmaps, but they all happened because the motivating driver got me there. So just take a moment with yourself, even today, just to brainstorm, just to dream, let your brain go wild with what goal you are wanting to achieve. This is going to be key in the next step. So step number 2, do your research. You've got your goal, you've got your dream, you're motivated towards that goal, and then the next step is to research, maybe talk to someone else who's achieved the things that you want to. If you can talk to them, ask their advice, ask the things that help them, get the keys, gather all the information you need for you to be able to start your planning stage. Listen to people who inspire you. I'm listening to YouTubers who are growing their YouTube channels, and that's really inspiring me for this next goal that I have for my social media, my business. And all of that is contributing. I'm taking in, even if I'm not planning yet, I'm at least bringing the information in so that when I sit down and plan, I can use the research that I've done to help me do things better. Often we jump to the planning stage without the knowledge of what's actually going to be the most beneficial. During this research stage, trust me, I have many a time missed out this very important component, and you just end up doing a load of things that aren't very necessary, aren't very helpful. Let's talk to some people, see what they say has been helpful, what things have been unhelpful, and then you're going to save yourself a whole lot of time and pain because you might have started doing stuff that isn't actually getting you closer to your goal or dream. Also take a moment to reflect on what has been helpful thus far, what has drawn you closer to your goal in your past experiences, what has been unhelpful. Try and identify your mistakes you've already made so that you don't make them again. As we're currently planning out a training program, what I would do is list out all the exercises that I found helpful so far or are targeting the particular goal I'm looking for. So if my goal is, for example, to get into a particular ballet school, what are the components I need to achieve that? They're infinite, they're artistic. You can't always have a yes or no system, especially artistically. In ballet, it's very difficult because it's very subjective. You just have to work on the controllables. So what is the controllables in this situation? I can improve my technique. I can improve my artistry. I can channel my mindset. Let's take the technique. I want to improve my classical training. What can I do this week to help with that? I would list exercises that could be really helpful. So if one of the things in my technique that I know I really need to improve on is turnout, I'm going to list the things I can do for my turnout. Turn out. So the exercises that I know are helpful are, I can do some clams, I can do turn boards, I could do, what else could I do? Floor bars, really helpful as well, floor bar. If you're coming to a moment where you're like, I actually don't know how to improve this, that is where the research is super important. Go online. I mean, I actually have a turnout tutorial that you can do. It's 30 minutes long. You could try and factor that into your everyday. So, turnout tutorial. This is literally the way that I have approached oh my days, Hannah Martin. Turnout tutorial, you get the picture. I don't have color coordinated, amazing looking plans. Often they're literally just me in the morning writing out, okay, what can I do? What is a knowledge sphere that I have? How can I expand that knowledge sphere? And then how can I action it? Let's say that turnout is the thing we're focusing on. So we've got these exercises that we can do. Now the question is, how do I action this? How do I put this into a comprehensive plan for my everyday? So now we're on to step 3, which is the planning stage. This is perhaps the most crucial part, so take your time on this. Before anything, preparation is the key to success. I love this quote that says, an hour of planning can save you 10 hours of doing. And that also comes with the research. As I said, we can determine what has been useless exercises and what has been good exercises if we just take the time to think, reflect, and plan. I personally like to plan on the Sunday or the Monday of every single week. That usually helps me to kind of get a good vibe for the week, but sometimes I can do this on a morning basis. So I wake up in the morning and I write myself a plan. I like someone who likes it hour by the hour, but that might not work for you. Maybe you like to do it more in blocks of like morning, afternoon, evening. You really got to find a system that works for you. For example, if I was to say Monday, I like to write the goal at the top. What is it that I'm wanting to achieve with these days, this week? Right now, I've just had a steroid injection in my ankle, so my goal is to rest and recover my ankle, but also stay fit and healthy as much as I can within the capacity that I've got. So that's my goal for the week. This is my goal that I've set for myself for this week. How can I action this? How can I set a good training program for what I'm working on? Let's say stay fit and healthy. My training program is going to be focused on turnout for my ballet because I can't do a whole lot of ballet at the moment. So whatever exercises I'm going to set for myself in my training program, I'm going to focus on turnout. So Monday, let's say, I'll probably wake up around 6 till 7. I'll do my breakfast. This is how I plan every day. 6 to 7 breakfast, 7 to 8 I'll take my quiet time, maybe some journaling. I call it quiet time. This is really exposing my handwriting right now. Or 8 to 8:30 I can do my full body flex routine. That's my flexibility program. If you don't know, I will link it down in the description below. It takes 20 minutes or so. So I'm nice and stretched. Maybe I'll do 8:30 till 9. The floor bar turnout tutorial that I've been following along to from Ballet with Isabella. Really good program. Floor bar tutorial, that takes about 25 minutes, so I'll factor in half an hour for that. And I know at that point I'm probably gonna be a little bit tired, might need to take a bit of a break, so I will factor that in too. So 9 till 9:30, what can I put in here? I like to have something to do, otherwise I will procrastinate, I will scroll on my phone, and that's not helpful time. Maybe I'll listen to my YouTube Academy. If that's the only time you have in your day, some people this might be unrealistic, you have jobs. I mean, normally I have to be out the house by 9:30, so I will factor in my time till 9:30 and then get to work. So this quiet time is going towards my goal of rest. The full body flex is staying fit. The floor bars for my turnout. Listening to the YouTube Academy is again kind of helping me rest and recover my ankle because I'm not physically doing so much stuff. I can add to this. I can feel like, oh, maybe I'd like to do PBT, which I'm planning to do today actually. Do back workout. I could do more stretching. You know, you end up getting such a long list of things that you want to do that it becomes overwhelming and you end up not doing any of it. That's why initially I was like, write out all the exercises that you could do and then be selective. So here I've kind of planned out my morning. I would do this for the rest of the day because then when you wake up with a purpose. There's nothing worse than waking up and you're being like twiddling your thumbs like, oh, I know I should do something today, but I don't actually know what to do. If you have the plan, there is something beautiful about going and doing the plan that you've set out for yourself. And also with each thing on your list, ask yourself why. Why am I doing full body flex? What's that for? That's to keep my mobility while my ankle rests and recovers. That's my goal, and that's keeping up my fitness and my mobility. So what does that why look like for you? If you have something on your list and you're asking the question why, but you're not solid on the answer, then you should wonder, why have I actually put myself down to do this? This is really important in your training program because then you're not going to be doing a ton of useless things that aren't actually contributing to your goal. That leads me on to step 4, which I've kind of already started on, but it's intentionalizing your plan. Being intentional, like I've said before, is the key to success. If you're intentional with your time, intentional with your energy, you're going to get yourself there 10 times quicker. Like we were saying before, 1 hour of planning saves you 10 hours of doing. After you've written your week's plan, go through it quickly and ask yourself why. I have a tutorial channel, so if you guys do want to check that out, that could be super helpful for you. If you are not realistic with what you have planned and set for yourself, you are going to feel disappointed. You are going to feel like you're not making progress, that you're actually only ever failing. And that is a one way to quitting your plan and giving up. And we do not want that. So being realistic with your plan is actually crucial for you being able to complete it. So now, if you've written your plan, sit down and I want you to take off at least 3 things that you do not think are relevant or important towards your goal. Now, this doesn't mean family time or resting time. Those are super important. The recovery times, you don't want to take any of that off. I'm talking more about the action things that you've put down each day. Take 3 from your week, take them off. Take the pressure off yourself. Make sure what you have set yourself is realistic. Otherwise, it's going to have the detrimental effect to what you're trying to do. So now that we've done all the planning, we've done the structuring, we've done the research, we've done the kind of excavating the bits that we don't need, it's time to action the plan. Now, for a lot of people, this is the hardest bit, but now that we've done all of the planning, all of the research, all of the whys, the whats, the whens, the wheres, we should be in a place where the actual action part is the easiest bit. You've done a lot of the hard work, you've done a lot of the mental prep for what you're about to do, and now it's just about doing it. You'll be surprised when you wake up how much easier it is when you have that plan written out for yourself. Somehow having it written down makes you feel much more accountable for what you actually have to do. When you get tired or get decision fatigue, which I get a lot, decision fatigue is real, especially right now with my injury when I'm having to make a lot of decisions of whether I should do something or not. I find that decision fatigue ends up really getting a hold on me. With your plan, you are reducing the amount of energy you're having to make decisions every day, and you can actually just use that energy to do the thing that you want to do. If you're ever unsure about something, always come back to your goal. Always come back to the why am I doing this? How is this bringing me closer to my goal? Also be careful in this because sometimes you can overplan. You've planned too much, you've done a few days of it and you feel absolutely exhausted. You need to take time to reflect, especially when you don't want to do something on your plan. The why question is important to come around to again. Why don't I want to do this? Is it because I'm really tired and I actually need a break? That's when you need to be like, okay, I'm intentionally not going to do this thing in my plan because I need a break. Or is it, I just can't be bothered? That's when you need to push yourself and be like, no, we've set this plan and we've got this goal and we're not going to let it go. This is a difficult balance to find, especially for me, because sometimes the lines can get a little bit crossed. It's a learning process. Don't worry if you don't get it right all the time. It's still something I'm learning, and as you learn and you grow and you get used to planning your own training, this is going to become easier as well. Forgiving yourself when the plan doesn't quite go to plan, when you deviate from it, when you don't quite complete it, is a really important part of this process. Forgiving yourself and not throwing all your toys out the pram is really important, because the biggest thing that stops people from completing a plan or a training program is often they do a few days, they're doing really well, then they have one day where they fall off the edge of a cliff and they're like, what was the point? I'm not going to do this. I've messed up. I'll start again next week. Oh, you know what? This isn't worth it. Those are the days where you have to reset. You have to come back around and be like, okay, what didn't work in my plan? Why did I deviate from it? How can I make the plan better so I don't step out of it again? Learn from it and decide whether you've been just a bit too ambitious. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this little lesson on how to construct your own training program and how to stick with it, because that's the hardest bit, sticking to it. If you have tried these exercises and it has been helpful for you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd also love to hear the biggest barriers for you when it comes to actually executing a training program. I'd love to help you, and I have loads more tips to share with you. So if this content has been helpful, I do hope you'd give it a big thumbs up and click the subscribe button. Also, sign up to my mailing list if you want to hear more tips and tricks of how to be more productive, how to take a hold of your dreams and go running after them each day of your life. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Remember, dream big and make it happen.